Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this webinar session, Choose France. This is hosted by Campus France Taiwan. Today's session will bring you all the information about how to apply student visa for your studies in France. I'm Angela. I will be your host today. We are honored to invite the consular officer of the French office in Taipei to provide you the most accurate and the most updated information. Before we start, I would like to invite the director of Campus France, which is also the organizer of this session, Ms. Zheng, to give some words. 请曾代表跟大家打个招呼。
好的，谢谢主持人。各位大家午安，我是法国教育中心 Campus France 台湾代表。那首先呢，谢谢各位今天拨空来参加这一场线上讲座。大家都知道呢，从2011年开始，持有台湾护照到法国停留，如果时间不超过3个月的话，都有免签的优惠。但是超过3个月，都必须要依照你去法国的目的来选择办理签证啊。那签证的种类呢，有非常多种。但是今天呢，因为时间的关系，我们主要会是针对学生签证的部分进行说明。那么所有要到法国留学超过3个月的同学都需要办理所谓的学生签证。法国教育中心呢，则负责提供办理学生签证之前需要的这个面试服务哦。那这边呢，要特别提醒大家，完成面试才可以送件办理学生签证哦。那任何关于办理签证之前的流程，都可以询问法国教育中心。包含我们的线上注册系统 Untitled Chapter 的填写等等的。可是关于签证的问题的话，就只有签证组才有权利回答哦。好，那今天呢，真的很难得邀请到我们法国在台协会的型男签证官来帮我们说明签证的事务。那事实上，这也是法国教育中心成立以来呢，第一次我们办跟签证相关的讲座。那希望大家今天都能收获满满。谢谢，我再把时间交回给主持人。
Okay, 谢谢曾代表。Thank you very much, Ms. Zheng. Today's rundown will start by the session of the consular office's introduction of the visa application in France. Then we will have a Q&A session. Please note that during the webinar, you could ask your questions anytime with the Q&A function. We will collect the questions and let our speaker to answer during the Q&A. Now I will give the floor to our speaker. Sir, please.
So welcome everyone to this webinar, Choose France, with a special topic on studies in France and how to get the right visa for you to your studies. So first of all, just to emphasize what Justine just said about Campus France, before applying for a visa to go to France to study, you need to go through Campus France. You need to meet them, you need to create an account with them, and you need to meet them to build your project. They are here to advise you on choosing the right studies and the right school for you. Okay, so just remember, you first need to meet with Campus France to build your project, and then you will be able to apply for a visa. So basically, what you have to remember is to go to the France Visa website, where you can find many information to prepare and to submit, and then to track your application. You'll see it's very simple. You will first need to create an account and fill the form. So first of all, do you need a visa? Basically, to study in France, most of you will need a visa if it's over 3 months. So on the France Visa website, you can see the visa wizard, which will guide you towards the right visa for you. So you enter your nationality, your age, you apply from Taiwan, and what's your plan? You can see at the bottom, you plan to study as a student over 90 days. Then you need to create an account on the France Visa website, and it will guide you step by step with the different area. So just very basic, your name, first name, email address, and then you will be able to log in and to start to fill the form. The thing is, if you don't have every information when you start your application, that's no problem, because you can save and come back later to fill out the forms, because you will see you will need different kind of information. You will not probably have them at once handy. At the end of the application, you will need to print your form, which is here on the left, and it's already filled with all of your information. So you check this out, and then you print and you come with it, as well as what we call the récépissé d'enregistrement, which will provide you with a reference number. So we'll be able to track your application and then to process the visa application. Also, just remember, you have to apply personally with your personal documents. You cannot send a friend or some family members to apply on your behalf. You need to come and apply by yourself, because we need to check different informations. Also, you have to apply for your visa within 3 months before the starting date of your school. There's no need to apply 6 or 7 months before, as we have some questions like this before, and no, just 3 months before, because basically it takes about 3 weeks to process. So if you come 1 month to 6 weeks before, that's more than enough to process everything and to make sure you get the right visa on the right time. Most of the time, you don't need to take an appointment to apply for a visa in Taiwan, because as a student, you will need to go through Campus France to have an interview with our colleagues. And just after this interview, you can apply straight away for your visa. So no need to book an appointment, but some categories don't need to go through Campus France, like students who just want to pass some exam, or minor students as well. So in this case, need to go to the French office website, and you will see some links that will guide you to book an appointment. So usually it's only Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning, but during peak times like summer, we are open every day. You will check this out on your own, and then you will be also to be able to track the process of your application to see if it's ready or not. So there's no need to call every day or to send an email, because you will be able to track it on your own. And anyway, at the end, we will send you an email to let you know that your passport is ready to collect. So you'll be able to leave to go to study in France. So like I was saying before, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Can be quicker, but just to be safe, allow yourself, let's say 3 weeks before leaving. So now we're going to go through different categories of students who want to go to France. So you got the normal, let's say, students who want to go to a higher education system. You also have the school-going minors who are under 18 years old by French law. You have the exam students who want to pass an exam to get hired by the school. You got the trainees. Just made a quick slide on the au pairs also, because you are supposed to study French while you have this visa. And we'll go to finish with a specific case of students who want to live with a family member, like your spouse or your parent. So the vast majority of students will go for over 3 months, over 90 days in France. So then you will need to apply for a visa, whether you go to a public, private, higher education school, which has to be recognized, meaning registered under French law, or also, it's maybe not that common, but you also can go to a professional training center if you do an internship, like no apprenticeship or no professional contracts with the company, unless that's already a master diploma or beyond. Otherwise, you can go to some school like, let's say, Cordon Bleu or Ducasse with an internship at the end, but that's not an apprenticeship. That's not a contract you pass with a company. And to apply for this visa, you must be over 18 years old. On the France Visa website, once you go through the process of your application, at the end, they will let you know every document you need to come with when you apply for this visa. So you need, of course, a passport, photograph, you need the Campus France registration, You need to prove your accommodation also. But I will go very quick through this because you will, once you log into the France Visa website, you will see it's very handy to find, and you will see the document very easy. Maybe one thing you'd like to know is the funds you need to have before leaving to France. So you need to prove that you have a minimum of 615 euros per month during the stay of your studies. So you can prove this with a bank statement, or with bank statement from your parents if they are covering you. But if you already have an accommodation in France, let's say you can live with some friends, or if you've got family there, and if they are welcoming you to live with them, you don't need to have this amount. You can reduce it by about 30%. That's enough. But just remember that if you go to Paris, for instance, it's quite an expensive city, so you need to plan carefully to make sure you get the funds before leaving. Also, very important, the pictures. You have to follow some standards. We say the ICAO standard for pictures, meaning that you need to have some colors behind you. You cannot be pure white or very dark. Usually light blue is fine, or light gray, like below. And then, yeah, you need to not to be too close, too far. You cannot have big glasses, and you need to face the camera. You cannot be like this when you take the picture. That's very basic. So you can go to the ICAO website to check this out, or even on the francetaipei.org also. And then, so we can get two different kinds of visa. So the big majority of you will get a VLSTS, which is it's giving you a residence permit basically for the length of your studies. So this visa will allow you to stay in France for up to 1 year. But if you need to extend your studies, then you will be able to apply for a renewal of this residence permit within the local prefecture, which is a French authority dealing with it in France. So just remember to do it 2 months before the expiry date of your visa, only if you want to extend it. We also have, it's not very common, the temporary long stay visa, but that's only for minor students. Let's say you start your school in September, but you will be 18 only in December. Well, from September to December, you will be under this long stay visa, and then you will need to apply through the prefecture for a residence permit to stay longer. So also this VLSTS will need to be validated within 3 months with the Ministry of Interior. So this can be done online, very simple. You can see at the bottom left, you will click validate, you will enter your reference for your visa, and there you go, you will get your residence permit. And but we'll give you papers anyway as a reminder when you get your visa. We'll brief you about this again, obviously, and you will get some papers in your passport to let you know what website and how to do it. So don't you worry about this. We can go also through the school-going minors. So the majority, you are a major in France over 18. So for those of you who are under 18, you will need to apply for that kind of visa. If you go to, let's say, to a primary or secondary school, in this case, you need to go through Campus France, because that's another process. You come straight to us, and then it means that you need to take an appointment. But if you are a minor and if you go to a higher education school, then you still go to through France Visa to apply for the visa. And one important information is, like, you cannot apply for this visa if you got a parent already living in France. That's an entirely different process. Your parents need to be overseas. And like we saw before, this is not for vocational classes, only primary, secondary school, or higher education school. It's valid up to 11 months, and you cannot renew it in France. You will need to come back in Taiwan before you can go back to France with another visa or the same visa if you want to attend the same secondary school. So as we saw before, that's just a print screen of the France visa website. So that's basically all the different documents you need to gather before you come and see us to apply for it. Third category, that's the exam students. So it's a visa that will allow you to stay up to 90 days in France. So that's a very special visa because usually if you go to France under 3 months, you don't need a visa. But you will see this one can be very handy because if you need to pass some written exam, some interview or some tests to get enrolled in the school, and if you are successful, then you can stay in France and apply for a residence permit from France. If you go to France, you get the exam and you are successful, you will not be able to stay there with a residence permit. You will need to come back to Taiwan and apply for a new visa. So that's very handy. Just remember it if you want to pass some exam. And you need to go through Campus France for this one also. Then you got the trainees, those who go to France with a professional work placement. So to apply for this visa, it needs to be a part of a project with your school or your university. It needs to be part of the curriculum of your school. Like to get your diploma, you need to do an internship abroad, let's say. So then you will need to conclude an agreement with a company in France and your school, and then you can stay under this visa over 90 days. You will need to validate also this visa if it's over 3 months, but then that's your company, your host company in France, that will process it with the prefecture. So as we saw before, same screenshot with every document you need to bring with your file. So the most important information here is like you have to get this internship agreement signed between your company and the school and the French administration in France. Also, you get the au pairs case, which is not so common in Taiwan. We get very few applications about this, but still that's part of it because the au pairs are supposed to study French while they are in France. So basically, this visa is for people who are going to a French family to learn French, and also to add this family with their kids and with minor household duties. So you can stay up to 2 years in this case before 30 years old. So you obviously have to find your family first to make an au pair placement agreement to make sure there's no surprise. So you know what you have to do while you are in their family. And this work placement agreement is got to let you know also what's possible for you to learn French within the city. You got to know if you got some schools for foreigners or some institution where you will be able to learn French. Actually, it's not mandatory to prove that you're gonna enroll a school to get the visa, but this visa is supposed for you to improve your language skills. Because actually, when you apply for it, you have to get some knowledge for it. And we can also go through the case of students' family member. If you got a spouse, or if you want to go with your mom or your dad to help you, even at the beginning, with your studies in France, they can apply for it with a visitor visa. So basic documents stating like they will not apply for a job in France because they are not supposed to work in France, but only to visit. And in this case, this means that they have to prove they have the sufficient financial means to be able to support you and to stay there for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year at most. Then that's basically what I had to tell you today. If you have any questions that you forget to ask today, you can go through the francetaipei.org website, which is a French office website, and you will see a page where you can just leave a message, and we'll try to reply the best we can. Usually it takes about 1 to 3 days, depending on how busy we are. But just know that we make a point to answer every question. So don't be scared to ask questions should you have any question after this webinar. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much for listening. And just remember that it's not only about Paris, but there are many beautiful cities in France to study in. So just feel free to contact Campus France to help you with this and choose the right school and the right studies for you. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for the consular officer's introduction. Now I'm going to ask the questions from the students. So the first students would be, I think you have mentioned in your presentation, but we want to have it more precise. How long would it take to actually get a visa? For example, do I count the date starting when I go to Campus France to do the consultation, or should I count the dates to get the visa starting from the day that I pass all the application on the visa application system?
Well, first, if your file is accurate and complete, you can count. Usually it's about 10 days, 2 weeks, but to be safe, we prefer to say 3 weeks once we have every document, because then we need to process it. It goes, we need to do some checks also through our applications. And sometimes it can be a bit slow depending on how busy services are in France. So it's probably safer to apply, let's say, 1 month before the start of your studies.
Okay, so this 1 month should be starting after I pass all the process with Campus France, right?
Yeah. Most of cases will be done within 2 weeks, but not everyone. So if you want to be sure, 1 month is safe.
Okay, very clear. Thank you. Okay, and our second question is, if the school starts at mid-September, is it possible that I start to apply a student visa starting from July? Sorry, is that possible?
Yeah, sure. You can apply from it 3 months before, actually.
So 3 months before would be a safe time. Okay. Okay. And then next question is, if I lost my passport in France, should I reapply for the visa, or what would be the proper process that I do if I lost my passport?
Well, if you are still in France, you can go to the prefecture to see if you can get back a residence permit. But if you lost your passport with your visa inside, and if you come back to Taiwan, then we can ask the question to the prefecture if they will allow you to get a return visa and then to apply for a residence permit in the prefecture. But in most of cases, the prefecture will say, okay, forget about it, do a new visa in this case.
So if I lost my passport and I need to do a new visa, do I need to go back to Campus France, or I can directly start the visa process?
Well, actually, you got to start from the beginning. So
I need to go back to Campus France to do this again. Okay, got it. Next question.
Don't lose your passport.
Excuse me?
Don't lose your passport. That's the safer way.
Yeah, so please, everyone, keep your passport with you all the time. This is very important, or you are going to get very complicated. Next question is about the address. When we are applying a visa, if we don't yet have a place to stay, can I still apply for the visa? Or is it possible that I can give the temporary address? For example, if I'm staying in a hotel, can I register this address for applying?
Yep, exactly. That's one of the proof of accommodation we were asking. You can provide a hotel reservation. So basically, you are supposed to prove your accommodation for the first 3 months. But if you got, let's say, 3 weeks booking in a hotel, we will still accept it as long as we got an explanation later, explaining that later on you will search for a flat, or you will be hosted by the school, or you will go to a student residence. So yeah, you need to provide a proof, but hotel bookings are good enough.
Okay, well noted. Well, I think that's good enough for a student just arrive, or they just don't yet have somewhere to stay.
Yeah, that's usually not an issue.
Okay, great. Next question is rather common. There are some students, they would like to have the PowerPoint that you are sharing today. Can they have a copy? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure, no problems. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pass it to them.
We will share the PowerPoint to the participants after the session.
Okay.
Next question. Are there different type of visa for students? For example, how do we distinguish the visa VLSTS with a temporary visa?
Basically, almost every student will get the VLSTS because it will allow you to stay up to 1 year, and this will give you some rights, like you will be able to work about 60% of the minimum number of hours per month. So per year, it's 964 hours of work per year. Per month, it's about 80 hours. And it will give you some rights also to apply for some government subsidies for your flat, for instance. So that's the visa everyone will get, almost. The temporary visa will be like we saw before for the minors. Those who are under 18 years old, they will get this temporary visa until they reach 18 years old.
Okay. So following this question, since you mentioned about the minor students, there is a question about the legal guardian.
Yep.
Is that possible that the minor students, they ask their professor as their legal guardian? Is it okay or not?
It's okay as long as it's accurate, as long as it's reality.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it's the real professor in the school where the minor student is going to.
As long as the teacher is really welcoming the student to live with him, there's no issue with it. Yeah.
Okay, so the condition is that the student need to live with the professor.
Yeah, because okay. The guardian, I mean, the student need to live with a guardian.
Okay. So this is the condition, that the legal guardian should be living with the minor student.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, great. Next question. There is a student asking about the students who are only going to France to study French. Can their visa be extended?
Yeah, because the VLSTS is up to 1 year, but then you can apply for another residence permit if you keep on going with your studies. So you need to get enrolled in the school before applying for it.
Okay. Well noted. Next question. Should I check every day about my visa? Because when we apply our visa, we need to provide the passport.
Yeah.
So will we get a notice when the visa is ready, or should we check every day, like on the system, to see if the visa is ready or not?
Well, if you are very stressed, you will probably check like 3 or 4 times a day, but there's actually no need, because we got someone here who will send you an email to let you know that your passport is ready to collect. So just check your mailbox and you will receive an email. But you can also track the progress from the francetaipei.org website. You will see there is a little part where you can track the progress of your application. But yeah, there's no one left behind. Don't worry, people will send you an email to let you know that it's ready to be collected.
Okay, thank you very much. And then here is our last question, which is regarding APS. So if anyone who is already returned to Taiwan, like after 2 years, getting his or her master degree, can they still be can they still be
You can still
using
apply
the
for an
APS.
APS.
Yes,
Yeah.
can they still apply for APS from Taiwan? Is that possible?
Yeah, because once you graduate from the school, you have up to 4 years to apply for it. So 2 years is fair enough.
Okay, but
That is
after
in
4 years, it's
Yeah,
expired.
but 4 years maximum to apply for it.
Okay.
Mm.
So I think that's all for today. Oh, there's one more question. Who can apply for the talent visa passport? Talent visa.
The talent visa. So this is applying for a researcher, actually. If you do a PhD, if you do a thesis in France, and if you have a contract with a research center, then you can apply for this kind of visa. But if you only do a thesis in France, but you don't have a research contract with the center, then you will fall in the student category.
Okay, so there are two conditions: doing the research and also having the contract.
Yes, right.
So these are the two conditions to apply talent visa.
Yeah.
And under these circumstances, is that possible that I can bring my family, for example, my wife or my partner or my children with me to study for the PhD for the talent visa?
Yep. That's one of the pros of this visa, that you can bring your family with you and they can work in France also. They got more rights than a visitor. They're not only a visitor, they are a family member of a passport talent holder, so they can work in France up to 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's all for today. Oh, one more.
Wow. Come on.
Okay, it's about financial capacity approval. Can they ask their parents to provide this?
Yep, as long as their parents are providing us with a letter stating they are responsible for the financial needs of their kids, that's okay. They will need to provide a proof that they have enough funds themselves with bank statements.
So it's just a bank statement, right? It's rather who provided, but it's just to state that you have the ability to pay all the fees that you. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
And another question regarding the same category: how much do they need to show in the bank account if they want to go to France for 1 year?
For 1 year, so that's 615 euros per month. So that's about 7.5 grants if you go for 1 year.
Okay. Another question regarding the VOSTS visa. If I am only like studying in France for a short period, about 3 to 4 months, is that possible that I get a VOSTS visa?
Yeah, over 90 days, you will need to get this visa.
Okay, so over 90 days, I can already apply for this.
Yeah, under 90 days, you don't need to get a visa.
Yeah, a holiday visa or a regular visa would do.
Yeah,
tourism visa.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And if my visa application is refused, can I apply it again, or it is done?
Yeah, you can apply for it again, but the best advice is change the supporting document.
Change the conditions.
Yeah. Change your project, because I don't know, maybe you didn't choose a proper school, or something's fishy behind. I don't know. So you need to play all cards on tables and be very clear. So then you don't find anything suspicious, and because that's sometimes when we refuse, that's because it's not clear and something's fishy. But
is it possible to know why the visa is refused, or
that's mandatory actually. By law, we get to provide the reason why it's refused.
Okay, so as long as I check the reasons and correct those maybe the mistakes, then I can do another application. Okay,
but it's not so common. Most of Taiwanese are providing good files,
good documents. Yeah,
good rate.
The pass rate is high.
Very high.
Okay. if the visa is still valuable and I return to Taiwan and I want to go to France again, do I need to wait until the visa is expired, or I can use that visa to go to France?
I don't know, you can still use the same visa.
As long as long as it's still valuable, we can use it. Okay. And there is a common question. It's about how do the students can know what type of visa they need to apply?
If you go to the France visa website, you will see a visa wizard. So you just enter your information, and then it will process it and let you know what kind of visa you will need to apply for.
Okay,
it's
so
very, very simple.
Okay, on the system, with the conditions that we enter, we can already know how to. Okay.
Exactly. Yes, it's very very simple. Step by step, just follow them, and you will see the results.
And another question about the APS and the VPF. For example, if there is a person who has already APS residence card, but he wants to extend it and he wants to change it to VPF, can this person come back to Taiwan to do this transition? Or is it possible to do the transition or not?
I didn't hear you at the beginning, but I understand that someone who's got an APS in France wants to change it to a VPF.
VPF.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not that simple. Actually, you will need to wait till the end of your APS and then apply for a VPF from Taiwan.
Oh, okay. So the APS has to be expired first.
Yes, you cannot have two visas at the same time.
At the same time.
Yes, right.
This is as like you mentioned before. If we want to have different type of visa, it cannot be at the same time. It has to be like one and another.
So once it's expired for VPF, you will need to apply for it from Taiwan, actually.
Okay. Another question, which you maybe already mentioned it previously, but we would like some more clearer distinguish. It's about the student visa and the talent passport visa. Yeah. What's the actual difference between these two?
To apply for it, or what rights do you have with them?
To apply for it.
To apply for it, for the passport talent, the talent visa.
Yes.
You really need to have a contract with the company. Like you do your thesis, but in the meantime, you work for a research center that is actually paying you. You get a working contract with them. Whereas if you are just doing your thesis, but you are not doing your research in a research center, then that's a student visa.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's no working involved. That's the same.
Okay. And then we have two questions regarding the process of the application. Three questions. First of all, is there any French visa, like how to say that, when we are filling the visa application, is there any example that we can follow?
Not really. Like, you mean a random file with every information? No.
Yes.
No, but that's no big deal.
So we just follow the system.
Well, it will be pointless to see an example saying another name, another birth date, another nationality, because you know it for yourself, so that's not very relevant.
So can I put it in this way, that actually, as long as you get into the visa application system, everything is clear? Yes.
As long as you remember your name and birth date, that's fair.
Okay. And if a student has already sent their visa application, but during this time when he or she is waiting for the visa to come back.
Yeah.
But during this time, they need to use the passport. What can they do?
They can let us know and we can give it back to them.
Oh,
And
okay.
They will need to come back once their visa is ready to be stamped on the passport.
Oh, okay. So they can call and make an appointment, or they can go directly to the visa office.
They will need to shoot us an email first, so
okay.
And then we let them know when to come.
Okay, so the process would be they send you an email to say that they need to use the visa. They need to use the passport, and then go to the office to get the passport.
Yeah, it's happening regularly, so there's no big deal.
Okay, and in the system, in the France visa system, if one already finished completing all the forms and send the button to submit, but they want to change the contents, is that possible?
Yeah, that's possible.
So just use the account name to get in.
Yeah, like you can save step by step, but also you can come back to the information you already saved. So that's everything's possible with it. Yeah.
Okay, so in the system we can do the changes ourselves. Okay, if we have questions regarding the visa, and I want to send an email to ask the question, can we do it in Chinese?
Of course. yeah, sure.
It's Chinese friendly.
Yes, it's absolutely Chinese friendly. No worries.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think this would be all the questions that we have for today.
Okay,
and thank you very much for the consular officer's time. 谢谢大家今天的参与。那在这边呢，要稍微提醒一下，法国教育中心针对这一次的讲座系列有一个分享心得拿小礼的活动，所以趁着现在我在介绍这个活动的时间，我要请大家可以拿着你的手机跟今天的讲座画面自拍一下。只要参加2场以上的讲座，然后在你的脸书上面分享你的心得，再截图你的这2场讲座的心得寄给这次的主办单位，就可以拿到精美的小礼物哦。那接下来我们下个星期五，也就是10月22号，会有一场不会法文也可以申请的理工学程的讲座，那会跟大家介绍法国的 N+I 理工学校45校的联网，那欢迎大家也来参加我们下周的活动。那现在大家可以在聊天的讯息里面看到分享拿小礼跟下个礼拜的讲座活动的资讯，欢迎大家参加。我们今天的讲座就到这边，谢谢各位 ，Thank you very much。